The legends of the Aes Sedai and their warders usually describe stoic warriors and wise magic users, joined by a bond of sacred destiny. In reality, the greatest duo in history began their journey with a soaking wet slapstick routine. Before the fame, Moiraine was a young magic user traveling in disguise as a simple noblewoman. One chilly dawn, she decided to secretly tail a trio of heavily armed Malkiri warriors out of a border city. When the group split up, Moiraine saw her chance. She crept up a small dirt mound behind the largest and most dangerous of the men, Lan Mandragoran, while he was resting by a pond. Her plan was simple: use a quick thread of magic to pull his sword away, scare him, and demand answers. But Lan was impossibly fast. Before Moiraine could even summon a spark of the one power, he spins around, grabs her mid-air by the dress, and unceremoniously hurls her straight into the freezing water. Moiraine did not take the humiliation well. Later that night, while Lan was trying to sleep, she retaliated by lifting a massive column of freezing water out of the pond and dropping it directly onto his head. Dripping wet and surrounded by flopping fish, Lan drew his sword, only for Moiraine to formally request their protection on the road to the city of Chachin. They set off together the next morning, bound by a contract rooted in sheer petty spite. On the road, the dynamic was absurd. To the other two warriors, Moiraine played the part of a polite, perfectly agreeable lady. But whenever no one was looking, she waged a covert magical war exclusively against Lan. The group rode steadily toward Chachin, but the real threat wasn't highwaymen. Moiraine set traps at every mile marker, snapping Lan awake with invisible whips of air, filling his boots with dirt, and directing swarms of biting ants into his clothes, followed by blistering nettles. Through it all, Lan absorbed the torment in complete silence. He refused to complain to his companions, and he absolutely refused to give Moiraine the satisfaction of an apology or even a wince. This silent war laid bare exactly who these two were. Moiraine possessed a relentless need for control, while Lan held an unbreakable willpower. It was a perfect stalemate between two very stubborn people. That stalemate broke when the petty pranks were interrupted by an actual threat. Around midday, the travel party found their path blocked by 50 heavily armed bandits pouring out of the trees. With the odds sitting at 50 against 4, the bandit leader stepped forward. He told the men they could walk away if they handed over the beautiful lady and all her expensive jewels. Moiraine didn't blink. She dropped the helpless noblewoman routine instantly, her voice booming over the clearing with unnatural volume, as a massive, roaring explosion of red fire erupted in the sky directly above the bandits. The smug confidence evaporated. Horses bucked, throwing their riders into the dirt, while the bandits screamed that they had just cornered an Aes Sedai. Rather than test their luck, the entire ambush scrambled blindly back into the safety of the dark woods. Lan and his companions watched the trees swallow the retreating bandits. Their client had discarded the pampered noblewoman act, revealing a woman who could command the sky to scream. The real test of their partnership arrived 2 days outside the city. Without a sound or a single warning, a sniper's arrow shot out from the tree line and tore straight through Lan's right shoulder. In a fraction of a second, Moiraine pivoted from a rival into a protector. She embraced the one power, threw up an invisible shield of air to stop any follow-up shots, and pinned the hidden assassin against a tree trunk using solid weaves of wind. With the sniper held completely paralyzed against the wood, Lan's companions didn't hesitate. They let loose their own arrows, putting the assassin down before he could notch another string. As the man bled out, he gasped out a confession. He had been explicitly paid 10 gold crowns, the price of a high-end silk dress in Tar Valon, to see the party dead. Lan was bleeding heavily from both his chest and his back. His friend snapped the arrow shaft and pulled it through, letting the blood flow freely. Yet when Moiraine stepped forward to offer her magic, he physically recoiled, stubbornly clinging to his pride. Moiraine was done asking for permission. She marched right up, grabbed the warrior's head, and violently pushed the magic in. The wound closed instantly, knitting new skin right over the jagged holes. They were both still deeply arrogant, secretive people, but surviving the road to Chachin burned away the games. In the mud and the blood, they traded their petty grievances for an unshakable, foundational respect, the true first step of their legendary bond.